Hello, gentlemen. Both of you are doing the hide my play call face into the microphone.
I'm just trying to do
The
the
Jalen
Jalen
Brunson.
Brunson Selly.
Yo, someone asked him about that like in a post game show, like, oh, what's that celebration mean? And he goes,
You
you don't
don't need
gotta
to know.
know.
You don't need to know.
He said, you don't need to know. I was like, oh, is this gonna be like come out as like being really inappropriate at some point?
I think it's very inappropriate. I think it's either cocaine or it's sexual
Yeah, it
or
seems
both.
kind of sexual. All right. It's crazy. Sav, you're doing a great job of not twirling, your hair in the
Yo,
the
your
reels
hair
this
looks good,
time.
Savant.
Yeah, the twists are looking sharp.
I was taking my hair down. That's two completely different. I'm not doing this with you.
The commenters really called out Sav for doing that in the middle of the show.
Yeah, he recognized. Hey man,
Yeah,
gotta get
shout out to Chill.
gotta
He
take
knew.
Yeah, he knew I gotta take my shit down. Sorry, y'all don't have y'all. Sorry, you don't gotta take your hair down.
We do
but
not. No,
My
we got
sexy
this
takes a little work.
fluffy, straightish
I try
hair.
to take it up. And take it up.
All right.
Next time you have to take your hair down, you'll know why. It's like once you do it, you gotta start. You gotta keep going.
All right, yeah. So let me start this one off by saying that the next show, or maybe in two shows actually, we're gonna be looking at Mr. and Mrs. Smith on. I think it's on Amazon Prime. So if you're trying to get ahead of the game and make sure that you're not hearing any spoilers, in a couple of shows we're gonna talk about that. So check it out, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, featuring Donald Glover and I don't know the other.
Maya Erskine.
Okay, Maya Erskine, great. I'm glad you saved me on
from
that one.
Pen 15, and she's also the voice in Blue Eye Samurai.
Yes,
the main character.
Yes. That's right. So we'll be checking that out. We'll see, can they recreate the magic that Angelina and Brad made on the original Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or is it
Was
going
it
to take
magic?
Was it going to take a completely different vibe? It was pretty magic.
Really?
It was very
I don't
good.
remember it very well.
Oh no, it was good. They had a great like flirty relationship. It was good, and then it led to many years of marriage.
A lot of adopted children.
And then a pretty ugly divorce and separation. So that's all good. Great.
Bravo to them.
Yeah. We just recapped the past 20 years of white culture, so you're welcome. We wanted to talk about some Oscar news lately because we got some Oscar nominations come out. It comes out way early. The Oscars are not until March or something like that. So we're just talking a little bit about the nominations, not about necessarily the winners or anything like that, but we wanted to put our own little twist on it, a little lemon zest on it. So we wanted to talk instead about what should have been the nominations for these categories that the Oscars or the Academy, whatever they're called, they completely missed it. We here at Confidently Wrong, we know what's up, right, Brian? We know what's going on.
They should just put me in charge of the Oscars, really. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like,
no need for
clearly
voting.
There's somebody with the knowledge and the credibility that could just make these choices that nobody could argue.
This is where we're going with this. So we're only going to talk about 3 categories: Best Picture, Lead Actor, and Supporting Actor. We are not going to separate the actor categories into men and women. We're just gonna throw them all together into one big pile and say, like, you're the winner. You're the winner here. So
to hell with their gender norms.
Exactly. So nominations for Best Picture, we've actually already done this because this was part of the Confidently Wrong Awards. So as a review, I picked no movie. I didn't think last year was a particularly strong year for movies. So you got to hold the bar at, hey, this is where you got to get to be Best Picture.
You're still copping out on this one.
Still copping out.
Like, you're just saying, like, hey, I didn't do my homework.
You fleshed out this segment and then backed out on it.
What are we doing here?
At least I'm honest about hating award shows, about the whole premise. I don't talk about award shows and then bow out of giving an answer for something that I wanted to be a part of. At least I'll just say there should be no award shows, but you're the worst version because you do like a half-ass cop-out. You cop out of the cop-out.
I don't think this is a cop-out. I'm setting the bar.
It
Brian,
totally is. By like every measure, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this was a great year for movies. Movies are back." And Wes is like, "None."
To be fair, we're mostly talking about like the kind of movies that we talk about on the pod. So we're not including something like Past Lives, which is something I do want to check out, or American Fiction.
We're not stopping you. We're not stopping you from saying that's your favorite movie.
Yeah.
Don't put this
on
us.
Creating this
boundary. That was the parameter Brian said. He was like, let's keep it on the things that we talk about. That way, it has a focus. Otherwise, we could just, we're just, hey, let's stay in our lane. That's all. I agree with that 100%.
Even in our lane, there's good stuff.
Well, tell us, Brian. Remind us what was your best picture, pick.
Obviously, the Oscars missed out on this because they keep relegating animation to its own island of a category and
Misfit Toys.
The great things that are in the best picture nominee list. And of course, it's Across the Spider-Verse. It was the best movie last year. Come on.
It was very good.
Everybody knows it.
It needs an ending, though. It doesn't have an ending. You can't be a movie without an ending.
Who is this man? It ended, okay? He's in the wrong universe. It ended.
All right. Sav, remind us, what did you pick for your best picture?
I picked Barbie because everybody...
Oh, that's right.
It put butts in seats and it made a lot of money. Notice how even if you don't agree with my opinion, I'm giving an opinion. I'm naming a movie. I have a picture that's best. Is it the perfect category or perfectly rationalized? Maybe not, but there's a logic and it's there and it's something.
Thank you for leading by example.
I do what I can. Someone has to, because this jabroni over here.
All right, well, let's move on to our next category. So this is, again, we think... these are our nominations. Had we been in charge, this is who we would have gone with, because the Academy clearly favors these very moody pictures or esoteric films. Poor Things. Have you seen the trailers for this? I haven't seen the movie.
I just saw it. It's fantastic.
Oh, it is fantastic.
Great movie. Go watch it.
I was about to knock it because it did look a little silly in the.
It's hilarious. It's so funny.
All right. Maybe it's something I'll need to check out when it comes to video, or streaming. Lead actor. We can go men or women here. I'm going with, and this is kind of a throwback because it's hard to remember this movie came out last year. Rocket and Bradley Cooper in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The heartbreak and moments in that movie, especially around Rocket, were phenomenal. They hurt me in my heartstrings. What a great performance. I'm totally sold on the Rocket Raccoon, Bradley Cooper. Sav, who's your lead actor of last year? The Academy just missed this. This is wrong.
Oh, Chris Pine for Dungeons and Dragons, straight up. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons was my D&D was my sleeper hit of the year. Not enough people saw it. It was such a well put together movie that you don't have to be a D&D fan to enjoy.
Co-sign that.
It was such a breath of fresh air. It was just I think just a promotion, and just, I don't know, maybe they didn't promote the movie, or maybe just the premise doesn't drag people in because you hear Dungeons and Dragons. But Chris Pine was amazing. Him playing a gruff, rough and tumble, down on his luck, scam artist, bard, heist master.
Perfect casting.
I just was like, Chris Pine? Okay, I guess. And he just knocked it out the park on his role. He was funny. He was very thoughtful and intelligent. His comedic timing was great. The way his character just oozed charisma, the way a bard would, rolling a nat 20, just really elevated the movie.
I don't know.
And just his actual chemistry with the rest of the cast was top tier. Him trying to gas everybody up. He has this rough and tumble group. Them saying, "What do you do? I'm the plans guy." And people don't take him seriously, but he's actually super effective. And just the relationship he had with, his barbarian friend, who's not his lover, but surrogate parent to his child. His story stuff was compelling. Chris Pine just did really good in a movie that I think set him up for success, but one that if you look at his past work, you wouldn't immediately think, oh, this is a role where you're really going to see him thrive. And he had a lot of range and talent that I think his other roles don't let him flex as much. He is way funnier than people realize, and that is a funny dude. He needs to be in more, not necessarily comedies, but he needs roles that let us show, hey, this dude actually is hilarious when you give him something to work with.
I love that nat 20 sounds like it's drug talk, like dime bag, nat 20.
Yeah, but you know what a
it's
nat
really
20
just
is?
D&D talk.
Yeah. For our viewers,
Chris Pine, I was sold on Chris Pine in Star Trek as Kirk. He was really funny in that as well. Like they gave him a lot of quips to say, and I think that grated on some people because they're like, Kirk wasn't like this, but like he made it his own. I really enjoyed it. I thought phenomenal job there. He got a little bit of that in Wonder Woman, but for sure in D&D and Dungeons and Dragons, it was very hilarious and perfect for
him
the
doing
tone
it
of
as
that
a
movie.
lead. Him doing it as a lead was what really made it better. But I mean, I have my own feelings about those Star Trek movies, but yeah, he was cooking.
Wait, tell us what you have feelings.
No, that's a whole nother podcast.
They're pretty innocuous. What kind of feelings do you have about these?
Yeah, like in the worst way, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was just kind of like,
Yeah, exactly.
I really like that first one. The ones after that were kind of
whatever.
That first one was really funny.
I just felt like Star Trek was
really
never
good.
an action series, so making it into an action series with the movies kind of like, to me, didn't win over what made it appeal. No, not a purist, but it's just like
but what makes it Star Trek
it was like a tonal inconsistency of this feels like this should be a Star Wars movie, not a Star Trek movie.
Well, funny because J.J. Abrams directed it, and then he then went on to do the Star Wars ones. So, he found his niche. Thank you for spotlighting the fact that, these lead actor, supporting actor categories often don't feature comedies. So
yeah, man, the Academy Awards, they never know what to do with comedy. Like they're totally missing the ball. Comedy is the hardest thing to do, and so should be praised at the highest level.
It's just so subjective.
That's why I got to give this nom to Jennifer Lawrence, J-Law herself, in No Hard Feelings.
Katniss Everdeen.
I finally saw it on Netflix. She really commits to the bit. Like, she gets punched in the throat. She's like goes skinny dipping and then like gets into a fight with some teenagers and she's got to put a hurting on them and no body double. Right? She's just like legit naked on the beach punching kids. And it's hilarious. And she just goes 100%. And hats off to her. Very commendable. Wonderful. She gets the Oscar now.
All the superlatives. All right. That's the lead actor. That's who we think should have been in there. I don't know what they nominated. That wasn't it. Supporting actor. We've also made this category way better, I think, and more accurate. So, supporting actor. Wow, Brian, I really like your nomination. Okay, but I'm going to do mine. So, supporting actor to me, someone who just brings just a total commitment to their role, supports the story, is believable, and someone who did that just extremely well and kind of almost made the main character look bad because of how great he acted. Jeremy Allen White in The Iron Claw put on a performance. He wasn't in every scene, but when
is that a commercial, Iron Claw? I think I had that at a few parties.
That couldn't even win Best Picture for you?
That should not win Best Picture? No. Because unfortunately, I feel
Rhetorical
like
question.
Zac Efron was good and better than I thought he was going to be, but I didn't think his performance was amazing, and kind of brought that down a little bit for me, just a notch. So Jeremy Allen White, the same guy who's in The Bear as the main chef, was also in The Iron Claw, and terrific performance. Wasn't in every scene, but just really dominated the ones that he was in. So I love seeing him there. Supporting actor, that's how I think we should go there. Sav, who's your best supporting actor? You want me to come back to you?
Go ahead.
You still thinking?
Mull it over.
I mean, y'all know how. Y'all know I just don't believe. Y'all know I don't believe in award shows. Can I give it to Ryan Gosling? Is that unfair?
No.
Oh, he actually has the nomination for
supporting.
They got it right on this one. That's what Sav's saying.
I mean, I thought he was hilarious. Like, it sucks that a movie that is very much about the woman experience, especially in America, and how these gender roles can sometimes have people being relegated and not get proper representation or credit, was very valid. But on that same note, Ryan Gosling, anyone who saw the movie know that Ryan Gosling stole the show with his character, and Ken was effing hysterical. The musical notes, just how melodramatic he is, the obsession with horses, the brewski beer me, like one-liners for days. I thought I've never been someone who I never disliked Ryan Gosling, but I've never been like a big fan either. I'm just kind of like, oh, he's this attractive dude people really swoon over. and I had a lot of respect for him after watching Barbie. I just thought he was just no other way to put it. Just put it bluntly, he was funny. He had lines that just made me laugh out loud multiple times from top to bottom, and I have to give credit to that because I did not think he would be one of the funniest parts of the movie. I was like, oh, Ken, okay, cool, he'll be a little thing, and he was hysterical.
Brian.
I'm gonna give it up to a legend in the game who proved it in this supporting role, Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne Batman.
Yeah,
The Flash, like, just like he gave such like graveness to his situation of being this old man trapped in a house for God knows how long, making spaghetti, but still ready to suit up and play Batman in like all of that like Tim Burton glory, while also being a mentor to the younger Flash. And I mean, every moment on screen that he had was just like, this guy is so magnetic. He's hilarious, but he's also serious at the same time. Like, that is hard to pull off. And it's just a reminder, like, this guy, they don't make him like they used to, basically. Like, he is like one of those like Hollywood stars that, man, you're like, just wish we had more of that.
See,
Michael Keaton.
this is like all-star voting, and team success is part of the all-star voting process, and I did not like that movie, and so he gets downgraded to me. He just for that.
It wasn't bad.
It's like Wemby on the Spurs. Like, you're doing great, man, but I don't know if you deserve an all-star nod this year. Your team is not good.
What the hell is wrong with you?
It's like that.
I like, when it comes to sports, I'm kind of with you on that. I think winning counts a lot, but like, when it comes to movies, like,
so the Lakers get one all-star, right?
Like,
Hey, so the Lakers get one all-star, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's part of it.
The Timberwolves should get 3, right? And hell, like, if we're just doing that, F it, Boston should get 3.
It's a sliding scale. It's a sliding scale, Saf.
Hell, the Pelicans got a positive record. We should get 2 more than the Lakers. Like, what the hell is this? Your argument
Who's your
falls
2?
apart.
Zion and Bi?
No, it's definitely not Zion.
No.
Bi.
Bi and
We're
McCollum?
just saying team success. F it. Let's just
McCollum,
give it to.
really?
Let's just load up the roster with all the people from the winning team.
I didn't.
I'm just being.
You're,
I'm just being critical of your criteria because it's trash.
I think team success is part of it. That's all. It's part of it. It's a small part.
You're wrong.
You think I'm wrong? It's totally individual.
I think it's a deciding
all-star.
factor between like 2 tied candidates. I'll put it that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yes,
Okay,
I'll
all right.
concede.
That's where
that.
I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. I don't think it should be everything, but
You said
But
Wemby shouldn't be an all-star
Damian
game. Like,
Lillard
you on
over
some gas.
Jalen Brunson.
travesty.
What the hell?
That's a travesty.
Travesty.
Hey, they're
that
winning.
is
They have one of the best
sacrilegious.
records in the league.
It's true. It's still travesty.
Jalen
It's not
Brunson's
tied.
stat line
They're not
way
tied.
better.
Individual performance not tied there. Yeah. All
All
right.
right. So what's next?
All right. We got our what we're loving segment.
Oh, snap.
So that was the Oscars. Done.
I'm on the
We
record
imp-
still saying
we-
award shows
Toast
shouldn't
or
exist.
pop the champagne.
We fixed the Oscars. You're welcome, Academy. All right, let's do what we're loving. We got 3 things to bring to you today. Brian, I don't know if I understand yours, so
Y'all have 3 things? 'Cause look,
explain
y'all
it.
had a
I'll
list.
explain it.
what?
Those are talking points. That's not a list.
Okay. I was confused. I was like, what are these different things? What is this about to be? They're loving a lot of stuff.
Okay, let's start there with Savan. What are you loving this week, Savan?
Tekken 8.
Are they still
A new
polygons?
challenger
That's
appears.
the correct pronunciation.
Are they still polygons?
I mean, that's just how the crazy, like, ridiculous Japanese announcer says it. New challenger.
Just slurred all of Japan. I love it. Keep going.
Oh my god. Okay, fine. Whatever.
You're fine.
Whatever. Point is, Tekken 8.
He wasn't like Tekken 8.
I was like, that's how
Didn't
the
say
dude
that.
say. That's how the dude say it. Look, Tekken is a fighting game series. I've been playing Tekken for probably over 25 years at this point. I've been playing since I was a kid, since like Tekken 2, Tekken 3. Really popular fighting game
So
series.
should they be on Tekken 25 at this point?
Wait, so you
No.
were playing Tekken as a 4-year-old?
I was playing Tekken 3
That's a lot of violence
definitely. I was
for a
definitely
4-year-old.
playing Tekken 3 in like 98, 99 for certain. So I would have been like 5,
This
6-ish.
dude was wearing hugs, beating people up with Eddie
My uncle
Gordo.
had a play at my grandma's house. My uncle had his PS1, and me and my brother, when we were over there, we would play the PlayStation, and he had Tekken was one of his games, and we would play Tekken 3 on the PS1, and we would just be, fighting and shit. Shit was dope.
What is there to like about this one? Because I mean, they're on a million, Tekken number 1,000,000 at this point. The last
8.
one
Yeah,
just came
Tekken
out like
8
2
over
years
25
ago.
years, bro.
Why should people get this game?
Yeah, so
Oh,
Street
first of all,
Fighter had
Tekken-
that rogue mode. What about Tekken 8? What are they
So
bringing?
Tekken doesn't have that mode in the same sense, but Tekken's biggest selling point is that one, it's known for a very big roster, 32. Like I think it launched with like 32 characters. And Tekken's really big selling point compared to a lot of other fighters is that it's a 3D fighter. Not 3D in terms of the actual characters, but 3D in terms of your plane and dimension of movement. So unlike Street Fighter, where it's a 2D fighter, you don't do any side steps, it's just y'all going head to head like a Mario game where it's just you going left, right. Tekken is like full 3 dimensions. You can sidestep, you can move around with the freedom of movement like you would in real life, almost like if someone was in an actual like fighting ring, right? Like if someone throws a left hook or a right hook, you can step left or right to try and dodge it or get out the way or just maneuver yourself. So that part of why the series is popular, because it lends itself to just a lot of freedom of movement, which means just more cinematic gameplay, more cool moments. There's a blocking a kick someone threw at you, and there's completely sidestepping it because you saw it coming.
For listeners
So-
at home, you should have seen what Sav just did. He did like a
I yeeted myself. I said, ooh, I did a little dodge. I did a little ooh.
That was
So
good. I got
yeah,
the
so
full
and-
picture watching that.
yeah.
I know what he was going for there now.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Tekken's also popular for like a really colorful cast where they have all these characters. They all speak their native languages. So you have characters who are speaking
Can you
French.
do them for us?
Is one
No.
in binary? Is there robots?
Yeah, there are robots. Yes.
Do they speak in binary? Keep going.
No, I think they're just speaking weird noises, but sometimes there's subtitles.
Beep, beep,
but,
beep, 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 beep.
So
But you
R2D2.
have the French character speaking French, Japanese character speaking Japanese, Russian characters, the
Multicultural.
Peruvian character. Yeah. So really fun to have that global cast, lots of fun stuff. And then because they base it off of so many fighting styles, the big thing with Tekken is that the characters have very, very large move lists. I'm talking hundreds of moves for some, like over
Yikes.
100 moves for most of the characters. So it is a hard, challenging game to pick up and master, but it lends itself to very fun gameplay because there's just so many combinations of moves you can do. It makes it harder for newcomers because there's just such a lot of knowledge checks that you need to be good at the game. But much like Street Fighter, Tekken has gone a route of introducing a simplified control scheme that for someone who's maybe never played a fighter before, they can access some key moves to be able to hold their own in a fight. So for example, Wes, say you were to play Tekken and you've never played Tekken before,
I have
there's a
not.
control scheme that'll let you, instead of having
Well,
to do a long
fair
sequence for a combo, you can press triangle a few times and it'll kind of like auto
Oh,
combo
that's
a
my
little bit.
jam. Let's go.
If you want to do
It's
a
like
certain type
intelligent.
of
It helps.
yeah,
you.
or if you want to do
Auto
like a certain type,
control.
or if you want to do a certain type of throw, rather than have to press a unique button sequence, you can press X. It's simplified to where someone can still, and you still got to do Tekken stuff to like win. It's not going to play the game for you, but it makes it to where you don't have to be a fighting game expert to have a good time playing the game. And much like with Street Fighter, they've really fleshed out their tutorial mode so that people can just learn how to play these games. In general, fighters are in a new era where, hey, we need to make this game something that people who don't play fighters can pick up. How do we do that? Tekken went a similar route of Street Fighter, where they have a much better tutorial mode and just explaining the game's mechanics, but also a simplified control scheme so that you might not know how to do the complex combos this ninja character has, but dumb down the controls and you can at least see a lot of really cool, fun, flashy moves, which even if you're someone who plays these games casually, you'll have a good time doing so.
All right. As
So it's good for the noobs, but what about for the old heads like you?
It is more fun
What's new?
and yeah, so in general, huge cast, that's always a big factor. The huge cast just lends itself to fun gameplay. Lots of characters got
he's
moves
only
either
going to play one
modified-
character though, despite that huge cast list.
I'll play a lot of people.
Yeah,
I play a
who's
lot of
your
people in
character?
Tekken. I'll play. I just noticed now. I'll play the wrestler in any fighting game ever. So I play. Have you heard of King, the Mexican wrestler with the jaguar
with
mask?
yeah.
Yeah, I play
And
him.
he's got like the Adidas pants.
Yeah, yeah. You know, what I'm talking about? That one of the he got the track pants. I play the wrestler, and I spend my whole time grappling people, pile driving, slamming, throwing, all that stuff. There's a few others I play too. But he's my best character. But they did flesh it out to where it's more accessible for new people. In general, the game is in balance to be much more offensive than defensive. Older Tekken sometimes can be guilty of defense being so important that its high level gameplay is technically good, but boring to watch and not as like just entertaining just to watch as like a spectator. And they added a new like heat system mechanic where you have a new bar that basically can give you an offensive boost and kind of be able to press your offense on other players. So in general, it lends itself to
NBA
a much
Jam.
more aggressive style of play against other people, which, you know, Tyler and I were doing some sparring and playing the other night, and it's a very fun system that lets you just do cool, flashy shit. And straight up, when you're playing a fighter, you want a good game, but you also want something that's fun to watch. And I think that, like, for example, West, if you were to just watch a Tekken match or me playing some Tekken ranked, I think even if you didn't know what was going on, you would be entertained just by the production value of the game, the graphics, the stages, the music, the fighting styles, the more dynamic angles when you do a special move. So it's fun to play, but I'm always in the camp that fighters need to be fun to watch as well. And
Yeah.
this Tekken's doing a great job of that, along with being more accessible.
I'm glad you
It's a
went
hard
there.
game to pick up, but it is I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Well, I'm glad you went there about it needing to be fun to watch, because I've seen your Street Fighter clips from the last game, and you know it's nice seeing your 3 moves over and over and over again. But
It's more moves. You're just a dum dum.
it's the slap, it's the jump up and pile drive them. Okay, 2 moves.
Two
The
moves.
2 moves
Two.
that you do over and over again. But that's not the point
There
of my
are
question.
4 different
Hey,
variations.
That was
Hey, if
mostly
running the pick and roll works over and over, you just keep running it.
that was mostly just to bring up this you know, criticism of Sab. But I do have a real question, which is, if you just had to rate them numerically, grade level or whatever, where are you putting those 2 games next to each other? Is it like a 90 for Tekken and a 90 for Street Fighter? Are you splitting it up? How's it compared to each other? I know they're a little bit different, but you know, they're in the same genre.
This Street Fighter 6 was my first Street Fighter, to be clear. I've been playing Tekken, like I said, for pretty much my whole life, so I'm always going to prefer Tekken to Street Fighter. That being said, they're both great games. I think that they're both reward skill in a lot of ways.
Give us
Like,
the
they're not-
number. What is the number?
I mean, I think Tekken. I mean, I just think straight up Tekken's better
Let
than
the
Street
man.
Fighter.
Come on.
I mean, I think Tekken's better than Street Fighter, point blank.
Okay.
I think the 3-dimensional plane lends itself to just more fun and cool gameplay. Rather than having to block back to not get hit, being able to sidestep, roll, do all these other maneuvers just means, like I said, there's been many times where I'm fighting Tyler and I will I'll throw a drop kick at him, and rather than block it, which is all you can do in Street Fighter because it's 2-dimensional, he reads it and just does a hard sidestep. Or he does a sidestep with a kick built in. So I'm flying through the air, and all in one motion, he's sidestepping while also kicking, and that might be the winning hit. That's just a certain type of hype that Street Fighter can't give. But I do think both games probably require the same amount of skill, and the skill expression in Street Fighter is very
Doesn't give us a
high.
number.
Because I'm gonna explain but I mean, I just think I don't have a number. Tekken's better than Street Fighter. Like, there's
Okay,
nothing else I
alright.
can say.
Okay.
If I told people what game they should get into first, I would say
Tekken.
Street Fighter might be more accessible. Tekken is a better game to play.
Love it.
Savon's not going to be boxed in by your rigid standards,
Alright.
Wesley.
Keep sending more Tekken clips to the group chat, Sab. As long
will.
as it's
Watch
not
my shit.
as long as it's not the same move over and over again.
Tekken characters have my
Slap,
wrestling character
pile
has
driver.
like 200 moves.
Yeah, just
I promise you
Thunderclap.
won't see the same stuff.
pile driver. All right. I'll do mine next. My what we're loving this week. I'm not that far into it, but I kind of previewed this on last show. Slow Horses. It's a show on Apple TV Plus. It stars Gary Oldman,
Okay.
of Commissioner Gordon fame, also from Book of Eli. And you were talking earlier about they don't make him like they used to. Man, Gary Oldman might be also that, right? Just phenomenal in pretty
I
much
believe it.
everything he does. He's he's a chameleon. He can be whatever like the role needs him to be, as long as it's an older white guy or middle-aged white guy. He can
You
be
can't be a black woman, huh?
no. He can be miserable. He can be he can be kind of dark. He can be light. So he's got kind of a pretty big range about what he can do. I didn't mean this to turn into a Gary Oldman love song, but
Well, you're not singing it, so
this
he
show
can be he can be
he can be
old.
amazing in everything he does. It's a series on Apple TV Plus. It's 3 seasons, I believe, so far. I'm still in season 1. Me and Jen are watching it together, so it takes us a little bit longer to get through it because we just, with 2 kids, apparently you don't have as much time for TV, especially not at the
So
same
what
time.
you're saying is you watch in 1-minute bursts.
We watch in like 10-minute bursts. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, oh, we got some time. They're both taking a shit right now.
No, are you kidding me? If they're both taking a shit, that is go time. That is not sit down and watch TV time.
Oh, that's a 5-alarm
Yeah,
fire.
exactly. There's the premise of the first season is kind of that there's these bunch of like CIA rejects, but they're the British version, so MI5. They're these MI5 kind of fuck ups, and they got housed in this one station together with Gary Oldman as their chief or their leader or whatever, supervisor, and he's also kind of a fuck up. Like he clearly like just isn't very good at like doing the things that he's supposed to be doing exactly. He just yells at them for being stupid and incompetent. Sav, maybe you can relate. And like drinks on the job. He's
Wait, what? Who's incompetent?
Yeah, what side of the table I am on this?
You're on the one criticizing the other people for just being incompetent all the time.
Hey,
yeah.
To be clear, anytime I have those feelings or thoughts, that is all internal.
Okay.
Externally, I am very supportive
you
and
might...
uplifting. I vent to my friends, but I want to be clear.
Yeah.
When y'all hear me talk about stuff I'm frustrated about in life, y'all are hearing the inner monologue version.
So you'll relate.
The version other people hear is much more polite.
I'm never going to take your encouragement now. Never.
What?
It's like, this guy's telling me to keep going. You got this. You're great. He wants to put a knife in the back of my head.
Well, you'll relate to... You'll relate to Gary Oldman saying the intrusive thoughts out loud because you can't at your job.
Okay.
So you might like it actually.
All right.
But it turns out that these fuck ups have happened upon some sort of like aspect of a case, an ongoing case that other people don't really have access to or are trying to cover up. And so they're trying to sort their way through it and solve the mystery and save one of the characters who's being held hostage. So it's pretty cool. It's like really interesting. The characters are like really rich, even though we haven't met all of them or known all of them yet deeply, just because we're still in the kind of the middle of the season. But what we've got so far has been really good. A lot of good humor. They're all British cast, and they bring their kind of humor to it. But there's also like this like conspiracy theory kind of aspect to it around the MI5 stuff and how people are angling for power and they're trying to get theirs and all this stuff and cover up their mistakes. So
what's the case in this season again?
In the first season, it's a young man is taken hostage, and he's brown, he's Pakistani. They call it's also jarring here. In Britain they call them British Asians, and they're in their mind that usually means a South Asian person. Whereas like if somebody told me like Asian American, my first thought is like, oh, an East Asian looking person, and then I would think like, oh yeah, that also includes like South Asians. But I need to reframe myself around like, oh yeah, Asian America or Asians also include the subcontinent.
The world is vast, Wesley. The world is vast.
So that's it. They're trying to solve this. They're trying to save this guy that's being held hostage, and it's kind of by a right-wing nut job group called the Sons of Albion, and they're just like a white people first kind of organization, British people first, native British people first.
Not like every organization.
Yeah, it's a little white supremacy, for sure, and which like obviously has echoes in current events. So it's also you recognize it as the current world. It's good.
So I've seen the first handful of episodes also, and I will co-sign Wes's.
I got the award-winning director bump. I like it.
It's good stuff.
You
Okay.
don't have mine yet.
I haven't sold you on it, bro. You get to see
No,
this
you
boss.
have.
Just
Where can
be
I
like,
watch it?
just be mean. Apple TV Plus.
I don't. Oh, I don't have that. No wonder. That's what I
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Because we
okay.
talked about this. We talked because didn't you talk about this in another episode? I feel like you talked about this show
Oh,
before.
maybe.
Yeah, we brought it up when we were talking Echo, I think.
Mm.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
like a Bad News Bears type group. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know it sounds familiar. I'm like, okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't got Apple TV.
They're
so
bad
unless
at
you
their
got a
job.
login.
Oh yeah. All right. I got you.
Ooh,
I got
thought
you.
was gonna say some extra shit. I thought you was gonna be like, no, buy your own.
I mean, it is $6. So I mean, you could.
I will not be nickel and dime to death by these people trying to bring back cable.
All
I
right.
refuse.
All right. There's no ads if that sells you on it. I know you're a big believer in no ads.
I am a big believer in no ads. It's a pretty big deal.
All right,
Like, oh my
Brian.
god, everything has a subscription, right?
Everything
like, I got Anna this alarm clock thing that's supposed to help her sleep also, right? Like it plays sleep sounds
Just
and
stop
whatever.
snoring. That's all you gotta do, Brian.
Well, I mean, that's a key part of it. In retaliation, she got me breath strips, like nasal strips to put on my nose while I sleep. Apparently it works.
I thought your breath was kicking. She was like, "Here, have some Listerine, bro."
Oh, she's done that to me before also. So it's a combination of things.
Okay.
But even this clock that plays sleep sounds
Needs a subscription.
has a subscription
No.
that she paid for. And like when I got it for her, I had no idea that was even a thing. And it was like you did what? You paid how much for the year for sounds?
The grift is real.
Good
you really did your research on that gift, huh? It was just
there's a deadline when it comes to Christmas, all right?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, what are you loving this
Person's got to
week?
work. So I am loving this show on Amazon Prime called LOL Canada. And before you roll your eyes and think that this is like the Emoji Movie Canada or something like that, no. This is a fantastic comedy reality show, and it's basically 10 comedians in a room for 6 hours. They're locked in a room for 6 hours, and the goal is to be the last one laughing. LOL, right? So they're actively trying to make each other laugh, but if you laugh, you're out.
Oh, nice.
Right? So you want to be the last person. And the brilliance of the show is just watching people suppress their own laugh, right? See them wriggle and writhe and try not to break, which, is kind of the most hilarious thing. Like that's actually probably one of the best parts of watching live TV, Saturday Night Live in particular. Is
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon's gonna burst out laughing because it's too funny. Like that is such great stuff. And so basically this show does that all in one. And what's interesting is that LOL Canada, right? The reason why it's LOL Canada is because Amazon Prime has been making this show in every country in the world. There's like an LOL Mexico, LOL Australia, LOL Germany, but it actually all originates to a bonkers Japanese show called Documental, which I have watched also. I watched that years ago when I found out about it. And in the Japanese version, Documental, like it's very specific to their style of comedy. So as every episode progresses, it just goes way off the rails. Like suddenly guys are like walking around naked and like having people look in their butthole and like picking toilet paper out of their asses, and it's just outrageous. And so
this is a comedy.
This is a comedy.
This is meant to be funny.
Could you imagine two guys in front of you like picking out toilet paper out of another guy's butthole and you're not trying to laugh at that scenario?
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I will choose not to because I gain nothing from that.
Saban is really not impressed. He's like, I would check out.
You had me at the premise, but then when you went back to the roots, I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that we were able to grow away from those roots into
well, so that's kind of like the mad genius of the show, is that the reason why they do it in every country is because every country has their own culturally specific sense and taste of humor. But fortunately for the Canada version, it's close. It's close to ours, and so like let me tell you who actually shows up, who they enlisted for the Canada version of this show. They have they have Tom Green of like if you remember the Tom Green show and Freddie
Wasn't he
got fingered.
Didn't he do like shock value madness and stuff?
Yeah, he's like he's almost like Sacha Baron Cohen, but without the persona. Like he's not playing Borat. He's just playing Tom Green doing this ridiculous, outlandish stuff, with a straight face and like committing 100%. Then you got Colin Mockery, who's the dude from Whose Line Is It Anyway? That looks like he's like shorter, pasty, older white guy with kind of like a flat
And
voice.
he's bald, right?
Um, he's a little
Like
balding.
Friar Tuck.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
And
wait.
so
Wait, Colin what?
if you've ever watched Whose Line Is It Anywhere, like you have seen this guy and know how funny he is. Colin Mockery. And then you got Caroline Ray, who's from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think she played the aunt in that or something. And then you got Dave Foley, who's one of the originators of the 90s
WWE?
sketch comedy show Kids in the Hall. And then you got like a bunch of other young talent that we haven't heard of in the US, but they're still nonetheless very funny. And so you throw them all into the room together, and you know you got Tom Green just like doing ridiculous stuff. Like in the first episode, for no reason, like people are just milling about, talking, chatting. He just starts putting plastic poop in front of everybody, like just like placing it ever so delicately at the seat that they're sitting on. And it's just like
What is this
Tom
sound that you're
Green being
making?
weird. The sound that I'm
Bewilderment,
making?
bewilderment,
Sap is just
confusion, disappointment,
making
all of the
sex
above.
sounds in the
That is not.
middle of this show.
Are you 8? Are you 8?
Hey,
I
the
I
lady.
think there's a wide world of sex sounds, I will say.
There's
That's why.
there's the lady from Schitt's Creek in here, Graham Greene, who we talked about in Echo.
Who's Graham Greene?
He was the uncle that worked at the tchotchke shop.
Oh yeah. That's right. He makes a cameo in this as well.
Paul Sun Hyung Lee, who is
Oh,
he's
the
in Star
dude
Wars.
from Kim's Convenience,
Kim's
is in
Convenience.
this. Andrew Fung or whatever. He does some
I
ridiculous
don't know
stuff
Andrew
in this
Fung.
show.
All right, cool.
I've never seen Kim's Convenience, but he's the dude from Kim's Convenience.
Oh,
that's
okay,
it.
okay.
So
he plays the cousin.
It's a good
He
time.
plays the cousin.
And so basically, like, if they smile, right?
Yeah.
What happens is if they smile and like, there's a judge who's watching. And the judge is he's the guy from This Is the End, that movie with Seth Rogen. He's like one of the dudes in that. Anyway, so like if he catches you, he's like watching. He's got all these monitors. He's like Watchmen's Ozymandias, like watching all these monitors of what's going on in the room. If he catches you like cracking a smile, he's going to give you a yellow card. And then if it happens a second time, you get a red card and you're out.
Or if you break totally and you laugh, you're out. Or that's also
I think
a yellow
if you,
card.
yeah, I think that's
Okay.
also a yellow
So you get
card.
2
right?
shots.
So you got 2 shots, and then they're also keeping track of like who got whom, right? So like Tom Green has his kill list, Colin Mockery's got his kill list, and that
Okay.
helps whittle down the field towards the end of the game. And then you see them like it kind of becomes a competition. They really try to ratchet it up and get more kills towards the end of it because they're trying to win. And the prize in this specific version of LOL is $100,000 to the charity of their choice.
Charity.
And so Dave Foley makes some hilarious jokes about like, oh, his charity is the Stop the Steal campaign. So like, don't let that guy win.
Fair enough.
It's a great time. I think it's like 4 or 5 episodes, like 30 to 50 minutes each. It's good stuff for like a nice like decompressing weekend. And one of the fun things that Anna and me have been doing is trying to figure out, okay, if they finally brought this show to the US, who would they put in a room together and them go bonkers at each other and try to make each other laugh? Like, that's an exciting.
I feel like you
thought
would
experiment.
do some of the late night hosts.
I think you got to do Fallon in there just because he's so famous for
Not being able to hold
breaking.
together. I feel like
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
need
yeah.
Steve
Like,
Carell. If you could get Steve Carell in there,
yeah, if you get Steve Carell and Will Ferrell together, that would be incredible. I'm also thinking you want to throw in like Kevin Hart
yes.
as just like this wild energy. There are a lot of Kate McKinnon will also be great.
Cat Williams.
Oh my goodness, Cat Williams would be nuts.
Give me the. I think I just need the American version of this. Although the Canadian version sounds good too.
I feel like Eddie Murphy wouldn't be good on it anymore, but I don't know, maybe.
I actually think he'd be
You think
great.
so?
Like if you saw him in that, he hosted Saturday Night Live like in the last, I want to say 3 to 4 years. That episode is just wall to wall hilarious because he just reprises all his old characters. If you could get him in that room, like I think the prize would have to be like $100 million for Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he'd need a lot there.
I'd pay to watch that.
Yeah, it'd be good. I feel like
Amazon Prime, make it happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should just put all the Kings of Comedy and Cat Williams in one episode and see what happens. That would be fireworks.
Yeah, you're just describing the movie Life, basically.
All right, friends. I think that's gonna wrap us up. Don't forget, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is coming in the next episode, or maybe the one after that. I believe it comes out February 22nd. I think is what I wrote down. So if you're trying to stay with us, I'll try to give you that preview ahead of time. We're trying to be more professional, more planned, so that you can make some plans so that you don't have to put our show off. Oh, I lied. It's coming out February 2nd, so that'll be out by the time this episode comes out.
Hey, let's be clear, Wes. You didn't lie. You were wrong.
I was wrong. Confidently, though. I was confidently wrong.
True to form.
Yeah. I was just branding.
Everybody do your
It's
homework.
just branding. All right, friends. Have a good one. Hit us up on Instagram. We're trying to do more on the gram, so interact with us. Answer the questions. Let us know your thoughts, your feelings.
And remember, listeners, most of y'all also aren't liars. You're just wrong. And that's okay.
Hit us up at confidently_pod. Friends, we're out of here. Talk to you later. Bye.